Greetings, mortals. I am Natus, the ruler of the underworld, and the end of the week is here, so it's time to talk about some manga chapters. And with that said, let's start off with Shadow House chapter 200, titled Shadow House, which I think has already been used once in the Shadow House series, but I mean, it does kind of make sense. Either that, or this is like a placeholder type of name for the when the volume comes out, it's gonna be different. But regardless, the title right now is Shadow House. So we cut to the this is basically the final part of Anthony's flashback from what we know of, with him and Edward's group arriving at the Shadow House, with them all kind of sleepy, with him being a little a bit sleepy, but not as much as the others, because the others are just throughout that entire trip just asleep on the train while he was like somewhat in and out. As we find out about what happened immediately after his father's death, as he explains to us that no one was suspicious about his father's death because he was so old and aging, so it's not odd that he died of, that he died. And some of you may question, like, how the heck did he cover up the scars, but I guess it's kind of like one of those things where it's like no one knew that it was kind of that he was stabbed to death. It's like, yeah, Anthony's father was dying and bleeding, but Anthony might have just put him in clothes that are not that don't have stab wounds, or maybe he just like told everyone that's what happened and it happened. But regardless, Anthony managed to cover up his father's death, and to be fair, it really only needed as long enough so he could get to Shadow House after he was there. It didn't really matter if people found out that he killed his father or not. But regardless, he arrives there and he explains that thanks to the Shadow House's, to the Mirror family's research they were doing beforehand, he was already a bit aware of the morphs, so he was able to protect himself against a few things and being able to be more conscious and all that stuff. But one thing that he was surprised by when he was arrived in the Shadow House was the fact that the Moors were growing and turning their forms into what he and the rest of his group were. Because that's something that they were not able to do. Because despite them researching and doing some, they were trying to be very careful about how they researched morphs. They couldn't get them to that point. Most likely because they knew that they have to like wait a certain time, and that some moves are not gonna grow as big as some others are. Because like I think it was during the flashback with Kate where she where one the butterfly third floor resident stated that, oh, what is this morph, an idiot? But he's really big, so he'll make a good shadow. So it's kind of like this. They probably just didn't get lucky. They either didn't get lucky or they didn't stay around the morph long enough. But regardless, Anthony goes along enough so he gets Christopher is born, and Anthony does seem really excited and really happy about this, but we'll get into it. But let's just say Christopher's excitement seems to be a kind of a different reason why he's excited. But yeah, anyways, after that, he goes into and becomes a living doll alongside everyone else, and it's kind of worded weirdly, but I think the idea is supposed to be he has his brainwashing undone because he prepared himself or put something inside him, so like it's not that difficult to really get, it is painful for the living doll to get rid of soot and from the coffee and all that from the one they drink, because I think like when Kate was first doing that with Emilico, it took like multiple bottles, chugs of water before Emilico was able to get the suit out of her system for her to be fine, to a point that Kate was actually very hurt about doing that to Emilico. So it's a lot, but Anthony was able to somehow manage to regain some of his consciousness. Or maybe it's like a similar trick as Ram was doing, where I believe Shirley is inside of Ram's mouth when she takes suit drinks, and all of that suit comes into Shirley. So Ram isn't affected. Maybe it's like a similar trick, but with some kind of different material. Well, regardless of that, Anthony is there, and he explains to us that there are times where living dolls do get their brainwashing undone. Like there's an example of one kid get his brainwashing undone, trying to reason with his friends, but those friends are still on the brainwashing, so they just think he's defective, and they dispose of him and get rid of the Shadow Master. So that is an interesting implication. The fact that there have been multiple brainwashings undone. I'm guessing it's like some a lot stronger willed after time kind of thing. Because, like, remember, while they take the whole shadow suit, the coffee drinks on a regular occasion, they are majority of time with their own thoughts. So, some who are a bit more stronger willed probably are gonna have a bit more of a memory or something. Because, like, again, it was said beforehand in this flashback event that there is someone who was a little harder to get the brainwashing, to get the brainwashing to control him. So it's probably like so it's probably a similar thing here where some are able to recall, but very few. Because during kids' time, there was not a single one who got in trouble because of it. So yeah, well, to be fair, that is probably because the example was with the main cast, and the main cast was kind of smart enough to keep their heads down when it comes to that information. But yeah, anyways, then thanks to the information that he got from the children who infiltrated Shah House previously, he managed to move around at night safer without anyone noticing. Because again, like during the daytime, he was a normal living doll doing nothing out of the ordinary. At night, is where he was doing a lot of trickery, and one of those nights that he was going around, he actually encountered Mary Rose, and Rose, was it just? Yeah, I think it was just Rose. But regardless, he encountered those two as he realized that he also had managed to get rid of their brainwashing and, their whole character. So he was very excited. At first, he didn't really think Mary Rose was anything special, but through time, he managed to realize that she's very useful. She can benefit him. And that's kind of important about Anthony here, because similar to how previously it was established that he kind of viewed how useful everyone's is, and then once they shown their resolve wavering or anything like that, they decided to be best to just cut them down. So like that guy who was helping him climb to the shower house, he just make it so he had time to reach. Well, he jeopardized his way back road they were going for, so he fell down and broke his leg, and then basically making it impossible for him to come back. So he basically died up there because of starvation or something. It actually got dark, and we do cut to that part of the mountain. We see a skeleton there, and then someone's like, "Why is there a skeleton there?" Because I don't think we've had a moment like that. But to be fair, I don't think we've ever seen someone like go down the mountain than outside of this flashback with Anthony. But regardless, Anthony sees that and he thinks, "Oh, they'll be useful for his benefit." And through time, they manage to undo his brainwashing, which is most likely just a sort of fake pretense or a deal, so Anthony could act a bit more of the, a bit more out in the light, because previously Christopher had no idea, but now Christopher has an idea, and Mary Rose and again, was it Rose? Or is it Mirabelle? No, I think Mirabelle was one of the twins. But regardless, they are kind of unaware, but Anthony still keeps his face, the facade he's making out. I mean, he was a bit easier to move because, like Christopher did say, that Anthony's already kind of smarter than him, so he was probably a bit more suggesting stuff behind the scenes. But yeah, anyways, now we get to a bit more of an explanation on what he thought of Christopher, as he explains that Christopher's power was, in a lot of sense, very similar to what the power that they are using to brainwash children, in a sense of Christopher's power was brainwashing as well. So when he talked, he most likely just released a little bit of suit, and then people kind of killed them, and they were under his control. Which is, again, kind of like a thing that connects Christopher and Anthony, and kind of gives us a basis of their powers, because, like, Anthony is very manipulative of a character. Like, he has his facade, he does, like, wordplay and, trickery. And has people working for him in a lot of ways. So, if Anthony, well, so Christopher's power being manipulation, does kind of make sense. And to be fair, there was like this kind of hint about a lot of how people's personality, Shadow's personalities are kind of reflective of their human hosts. Like, what the, like Patrick's personality, very like kind, loving personality, gives him like pseudo racer powers. Well, pseudo racer powers in the form of a heart to 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 protect them from attacks and all that type of stuff. So similar to like what he did to Lou deal. So it's kind of it's kind of a similar thing going on here, but it's with Anthony brainwashing people. So yeah, after that, Anthony really valued Christopher because he realized he had like a lot of power and sway. Like people looked up to Christopher, so Anthony could easily have an easier time convincing everyone that, oh, Christopher is supposed to be replacing the great grandfather. He's his heir, kind of deal, and all that kind of trickery. And he viewed him very useful. But unfortunately for Anthony and his plan, he got invitation. Now, interesting enough, he says he got an invitation unintentionally or unexpectedly, which is odd because, at that point he was already one of the star bearers, so you'd think they would all just expect one day to get the invitation, but it was unexpected. I guess maybe it happened before he was hoping for, like maybe he was expected to take a while, like it's not exactly like you become a star bearer and in a couple of years, like let's say 5 years, you become an adult or something on those lines. But regardless, he got there, and once he realized what the invitation is and how it works, he sort of got a bit conflicted. Not because of, oh shit, Christopher's gonna die, but because of Christopher is very useful to him because everyone looks up to him, everyone values him, his power to control people is really great, but he would have to die for Christopher to be able to, and they couldn't figure out a way for the human to remain because, like, again, they didn't really make much progress in their morph research. So he was kind of like unable to find a way so he could remain. Like, I imagine if Anthony had a way to remain in control of his body and just have Christopher's powers and all the things we've seen Shadow adults have, I don't think he would be as conflicted. But because he had no idea how to do that, he got kind of conflict in this situation where he shouldn't really jeopardize Christopher and all that, but it doesn't matter because Christopher used his suit power to control Anthony and have him leave the thing. Like, it looks like sort of similar kind of like how Luann used her power, but instead of sending her away, she kept her there and all that stuff. So in this instant, Christopher used his powers to send Anthony away and like run and all that did indeed happen, like how Christopher described it. With someone like Anthony, it's kind of difficult to say when he says people sacrifice them for him, for his sake, if that's true or if that's just him, saying what happened, but in reality, he just killed them because they were useless, like that guy who helped them, who was climbing with him to the shell house. But regardless, less of that. After Christopher's sacrifice, Anthony was kind of in this kind of blank period where he didn't really know what to do because, again, his plans revolved around Christopher being the heir to grandfather, so people would flock to him and he'll be able to use them. But now he didn't have that. Not too much. He would also have to be in hiding because he can't really be anywhere without getting into trouble. So he was kind of questioning what to do. But regardless of that, after some time, he got into a plan where he'll just be gathering information, doing stuff, and just basically be an opportunist when he'll get pull up Blackbeard, but more literally in the shadows kind of deals. So he went around and applied his schemes and tried to develop a new strategy to succeed. And while he was moving around, he came up and, helping Mary Rose with her scheme and all that. He eventually, I'm going to say he probably did sneak in. Well, I I don't want to say this in a creepy way, but I imagine that Anthony kind of on a regular basis, or at least until Kate fell asleep, he would probably like wait in the wall or wherever he was passing by Kate's room to like listen to see if she's plotting any kind of way to get around. Because at first, Anthony, okay, first things when Anthony heard about Kate and learn about stuff about her, because remember they always appear in time when he was just hiding, so he would probably learn of Kate. Was that she was kind of a similar person as like Mary Rose, where she was able to get around the brainwashing. I mean, he did find the name suspicious because Kate's name is a nickname that Catherine, his father's first wife, had, and Emilico is a name that Catherine's was there. She was a person, maid in waiting, or like a personal maid of her, or if she was just like a maid that was along with Kate, just like not friendship, but like. You two could basically be considered friends in terms of maid and master kind of relationship. But regardless, he did find the names a bit off. The fact that it's Kate and Emilico, since I think the maid's name is Amelia or something in Kate states, but then he dropped on her, revealing her secrets to Kate, well, to Emilico and everything, explained everything, and then he clicked, like, this is his younger, well, he first thinks she's his younger sister, but then he says that, well, no, because of how long she's been in the womb, she would be the older sister. Although, okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't that when it comes to like let's use twins for example? When it comes to twins, isn't the older sibling the one who comes out of the belly first? So wouldn't Kate still be technically the younger sibling because she came out of the womb? First, well, she came out of the womb last. So, well, after Anthony. So wouldn't she still technically be the younger one? I mean, I know Kate's age is kind of a weird thing, but technically speaking, I think it was just explained that like the belly was, she got like the belly was increasing, but it took like 50 years for her to come out. So I feel like it's more fair to say that Kate is the younger sibling, even if she was technically being conceived beforehand. But regardless, he finds out about all that and then clicks everything in play and does make sense. Like, it would explain, if she is what she says she is, it would explain the name, scheme. Plus, there's some poetic, kind of fitting fitting conclusion to this, because he in his narcissism views Kate now as a successor to the Mirror House, so now he thinks that this is now a succession war for the Mirror House between him, Kate, and Joseph, since okay. Again, the great grandfather is kind of a weird character right now still, but for as far as Anthony knows, Joseph is the real mastermind, with the great grandfather just being like a big, just like a figurehead kind of figure. So he doesn't think great grandfather is anything else. And to be fair, even we probably have no way of knowing if he is yet or not anything more than just a figurehead. But he also put Kate in that competition because she's also like the rightful heir. And now he thinks they need to decide who. No, it's like a freeway battle between them. Although, to be fair, Anthony, I don't think Kate would really throw that big of a fit about you being the heir of the house. Just kind of wants to take it back. Again, I think this is meant to kind of go back into Anthony's mindset where he was raised so much that he has to take it back because he's the heir and all that. To a point that now, even when he got someone who should by all accounts be viewed as his ally, he views it as an enemy just because of the possibility of them also wanting to take back the Shadow House. Like, again, like, Kate may have said that she wants to take Shadow House back and be there in charge, but that's more because she didn't know Anthony was, her half-brother. So, I mean, I guess maybe the logic is more because Kate has more right to the house than he does, because his father was a noble, but his mother was a peasant, or I think they do call them peasants, or just low class, while both of Kate's parents are nobles. But regardless, I don't think Kate would really throw that much of a fuss about not being, just that the house is gone and the Mirror House is back would, I think, make Kate happy enough and content. quite frankly, I think just living with Emilico in the shell house and everyone else would just make her happy. I don't think she would really throw much of it about if she's in charge or Anthony. The only reason why she's now your enemy, Anthony, is because your dumbass just pretty much stabbed her in the biggest back and made the biggest ploy to take over everything she's built and everything, every connection, everything. You just took away everything. That's why she's gonna be against you, you idiot. But regardless of how much of an idiot Anthony is, he right now is in control of it as we cut back to the present, as he declares that now it's where the final stage or the final act is gonna take place, as he has his followers and support, as we find out in the end of this chapter that Shell House is reaching its final saga or final arc. And yeah, it's the end of the chapter. So chapter 200 is confirming that from now on we're in the final arc. Now, I've heard some people say that apparently the creator of the writer for the Shell House has actually said there isn't gonna be. Well, he said that there's gonna be at least 20 more chapters of Shell House before its conclusion, which I don't know if I really see Shell House concluding in 20 or so chapters, because Shell House isn't exactly like. I mean, Shell House kind of takes its time when it comes to wrapping stories and stuff up a lot, so I question like going from this with Anthony controlling everyone, with the third floor residents, the great grandfather and all that, and the whole Joseph thing still being such a big mystery, and all this being wrapped up in 20 chapters. I mean, granted, I do think Shell House does have longer chapters than the majority of Shonen Jump series, and to be fair, maybe I think it was at least 20 chapters. This was actually the more proper wording, so there's probably maybe he's counting about around that number, but so it could easily be like 30 or something. But regardless, we're in the final act, and I'm really curious on which direction we are going for, because like shadow adults are still supposed to be way, 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 way stronger than children. In fact, I was kind of getting relegated with Joss's fight against that the Reaper or whatever his name was. Was it Benjamin? Well, to the guy, like, where even at that point, Joss still couldn't have a proper long run fight against him without being in a severe disadvantage and only relying on the last minute power of love type of power boost and good blows, just because he has higher attack power than the Reaper. So it's kind of a weird thing, but who knows? Maybe I don't want to say it's gonna be a time skip. It's just gonna be 20 chapters, but there's left, or at least 20 chapters left. But regardless, we are in its final stage, and we're gonna have to see where this is gonna go. I kind of feel like Anthony is gonna still have Kate serve him in a sense, but now he's gonna severely limit her movement to basically just be locked up in a room with Barbara there, probably mentally broken, and needing to, or maybe he's gonna lock Barbara something else to threaten her life. But whatever. And keeping Emilico way, way away from Kate, so she will not be able to use. So basically isolating her, so her intelligence will only be able to help him or something. I don't know, but we're gonna have to wait and see on that side. Since I think it was announced that there is gonna be a little break between chapters. I think it's more in the middle of August where the Shell House is coming back. But whatever. Anyways, with Shell House out of the way, it's time to talk about Shy, chapter 126, titled "The Real Me." I would have preferred it was the sober me, but whatever. So, anyways, we start this chapter off where we last left it off with Shy and encountering Spirit in Kufu's toy box, or body, or whatever you want to call it. As Shy's a bit confused on what's going on, since, Spirit was kidnapped by Amarimaru. Now she's here pretty free, all things considered. Like, she has a coat. I mean, she's in an icy place, but she has a winter coat, and just sitting there. As then a train comes and takes the two of them there. I think there's actually a bit of a flashback to that era, but it's essentially a pointless flashback, since we start chapter off with them on a train, and then we explain that they just went on a train when they were first encountering, and then whatever. But there is that little funny scene with Spirit telling Shy Oh, don't worry about this. Leave things matters outside to Kufu, which is kind of like a bit sinister, but you know it's not sinister because like immediately the spirit just sort of like this because you know she doesn't really know how to start talking with Teru. So yeah, they anyways shot then Spirit starts talking about where they are as she explains this is they're kind of inside of Kufu's body, basically a toy box, like her nickname implies. It's Kufu, I think, was referred to as like the human toy box, so that's where they are inside of right now. And she even has point out this, but it's like this has some really weird implications about which part of the body they are, and you know, like there's just something off about like a character whose body is kind of like a pocket space. But regardless of that, they are inside, and as things go, Spirit now wants to talk about things, but she doesn't really know how to because she's not sober. Because well, she's sober right now completely. So she's kind of acting very weird, and Shy is so weird out by Spirit's behavior right now that she's thinking like, "Is this an imposter?" Which is actually what they do to mention. Like, because Spirit's like, "Damn it, I never talked with Taro when I was sober. How do I talk to her?" And then Taro's like thinking to herself out loud, like, "Is this maybe an imposter?" And she's like, see? She's like doing a little fourth wall bacon joke, which does make sense since she's cool for fools, but whatever. She's already the suspect. I'm a suspect. But then she thinks, oh wait, I mentioned this in Russia, so she should probably get this. So Spirit's like, Shy, do you remember how I told you in Russia? But then Shy is like, wait, you are an imposter because Spirit never calls me Shy. She always calls me Taro. And then Spirit says, she tries to go Taro and kind of be a bit more comical, but she's saying sober as all hell, which is again really because the fact we get to see like her saying, "Damn it! All the alcohol I had with me, I already drank." I guess she had bottles of alcohol on her person when she was captured. I guess that's why they were removing her clothing to see if there's any alcohol on her. And then she drank all that, and poof, you know, isn't gonna give you any alcohol. Pretty sure she's not legally allowed to be even near that stuff, but whatever. She's now. Well, the issue is that Spirit is sober as all hell. As then Spirit explains the whole situation, and Shy is surprised by this. I guess even if you were told, I guess even if you were told that Pepesha and Pepesha is like has an insanely opposite personality when she's sober to when she's drunk, you would still not think that there's that big of an opposite, especially since, you know, there are moments in the story where you would think that Spirit is sober, but it seems like that she isn't. Like, even when she was... This implies that Spirit is so drunk 24/7 that even after getting stabbed in the ribs, being needing to be in a medical bay to get healed, and needing to be treated, and not having any alcohol for at least a couple of hours, she's still somewhat drunk. I don't think that's the issue is a liver. I think she might as well just be addicted to that stuff. Again, this is like one of those things where when you realize the full scope of it, it's just so crazy to imagine. But regardless, Shine does believe her and asks her what does Spirit want, and Spirit tells her that Kufu gave her a task, saying that like there's gotta be a hero that's gonna come here, just whatever hero, not Shy specifically, but Spirit just was taking her bets and was like, it's probably gonna be Shy. She's the only hero that would probably expose themselves to Kufu, so she would so Kufu would try to take and everything, but she anyways, she's explained that her task was to have whatever hero is to and bring them to one specific location inside of Kufu's body. I'm not questioning where those things are. But yeah, anyways, Spirit also explains that Kufu is wavering between the two sides, with her, in a way, understanding on the flaws of Amarimaru and why the heroes must stop her, but also she wants this world. Like, everything here is like what she desires. So it's like she's not exactly certain which to take. So now she kind of needs like a little push in the right direction. And Spirit seems to Silver Spirit at least seems to be kind of more on the I will kind of go with her, but I'm not gonna be the one. I cannot push her to take either side. So she decided Shy. Well, so it's kind of like unwordly decide. So it's kind of without words decided that Shy would be the one that will push Kufufu in one direction. And yeah, as Spirit brings Shy to a ring, to a place with a single key, where it's apparently the key to Stigma, or where they need to, what they need to do to get the key to get to Stigma quickly, or I guess a way to escape Kufufu, because I guess Kufufu is going towards Spirit, towards Stigma right now. As we cut to the outside, as Kufufu and Tiny Pilsa are coming on the ground from the whole stage, as Pilsa came here to let go, and Kufufu does, and that's a little trickery. As Pilsa's like, wait, didn't you say you're gonna throw me in there, in that accumulator thing, that Aldrich's whore? As Kufufu tells her, you're not an egg yet. I can throw you in there. Granted, I don't really know why you're I can't really do anything about you becoming a child, but regardless, it was all joke. It was just a trick to get the hero here, and to get her out of the situation. But then Shrimpy shows up and goes to strike at Kufufu. But again, if he was overwhelmed by a giant father monster, Kufufu would be able to block him, no issue. But regardless, Shrimpy asks where's Taro and where's Shy, but Kufufu just gets away from the whole thing and just go and says bye, and boom, and she disappears. I don't know a lot of this story from the Raws, but basically she just goes towards Stigma for that whole plan and deal to be whatever is going on inside of her mind to play out. But anyways, then Spills' father comes to look after her. I'm guessing that he's probably ordered to follow her everywhere. Maybe like Stigma is like thinking that Kufufu is unwavering serving him, so he would probably just brought her to her father for him to use his abilities and trick her on Pilsa. So regardless, the father, the imposter, is checking on Pilsa. And Pilsa is remembering Shy's words and remembers also the words that her father used. I don't know if this was something that was stated beforehand or not, but basically the words that the inspirational words that Pilsa told Shy are the same ones that were told to her by her father. And she's kind of starting to be aware there's something wrong here. There's something that's not. This world isn't fine. As we then cut to a different team of heroes with Mei Lin, I think was his name, and the Shining, and the. I think once I say the other half of Shining Six that were present, the Mexican, the Mexican and Spain hero as well as the Kitty Cat. They are all there as they're like react to the fact that they get a news from Lady Black and Nirvana. And the Shining Six are not really worried about Nirvana, but Lady Black they can't say they have no real, knowledge on her. Mainly is the only one that actually has is like, oh, she's strong, so she should be fine. But while they're talking, the cat senses that there is someone in front of them. That's like she gives a very detailed description, but then this thing that was behind them ahead of them is actually behind them, as they're kind of shocked, but then she wants to play it off, so she just immediately jumps and attacks it, and acts like, oh, I totally saw, I totally did not miss this thing, as they are calling her out for being a liar, and this octopus machine that she hit, someone comes out of it, as it screams how it's going to take them down, as we see this, octopus hat on a human body, and how it's gonna get them to suffer for their deeds, as they're kind of shocked by this being octopus. And yeah, that's where we end the chapter off, and I guess we're gonna be focusing on them for a little bit now. So, we kind of set up a lot of stuff for Pilsen and Shine all that. So yeah, anyways, after Shy, we get to a considerably longer series in the previous two with "Tis Time for Torture Princess," chapter 239, titled Torture 239, which is ironic considering the fact that Princess escaped torture this time, for 2 days at least. But yeah, anyways, we start this chapter off with Giant Mama and Princess going into a hotel that the Giant Mama won, in those magazines competitions. I'm not sure if it's like a free 2 night stay there or if it was just a like a discount price, but regardless, they are in that place as Princess and John Mama are happy about it. As John Mama tells Princess there's actually something special about this, and that is the fact there's a sauna in the room. So she's very excited, happy about this, and she's even like very hyped about it, which kind of surprises Princess, and she's not really used to seeing Giant Mama being so hyped. But she tries to play along with it, but Giant Mama is like, actually, I think I just got a bit carried away. We don't need to be that excited. So yeah, there's a little bit of inconsistent hype, but regardless, Giant Mama goes to the sauna in the room, and she explains to the princess that this sauna is actually very tight. It's like for a single person, so it would be best if they, just they have to go one after another. And princess tells her, "Yeah, you go first because I'm not that into them as you are." So she goes into that room and she enjoys it a bit, like the crowded space and the whole heat from that. And she then goes to take a little bit of a shower afterwards. She first wants to wash herself, but because of the specialty of the sauna, she decides it would probably be best just to jump into the cold water to immediately get like really chilled and all that. So she enjoys her time there for a bit, and then comes on. She's very relaxed and very excited about that. As then Princess is like, I don't think I'm gonna be as excited as you are, but they'll probably be fine. So she goes there and then she does the same thing as Giant Mama does, and they're both like, yeah, this is great and all. It's amazing. As then Giant Mama remembers that, technically Princess does have the job of being tortured by everyone. So she's like, wait, will you be fine being with the torture if you gotta be away from for the place for a bit? I'm not sure if this means the next chapter is also gonna be down here, or if it's gonna be Princess back in the torture chambers, or maybe it's gonna be like something else. But regardless, Princess tells them not to worry. She left 2 tortures for Torture to collect. As Torture comes there, and then she sees that Axe is there with his with like 2 notes attached to them for Torture Day 1 and Torture Day 2. As she's like, I guess I'll take this at the shrine because because the way of this kind of looks like, it's like when you have like those shrines and then you leave something at them as an offering. So this kind of looks like Torture's taking her offerings, so she kind of goes there. As we get like this joke where Axe doesn't speak anything during this chapter, but you can tell that he's fucking furious at this. Probably not just because he's being used as some kind of shrine to leave stuff at for their god, or in this case Torture, but also because Princess is so used to Torture at this point that she can't even leave to go on a spa without leaving some Torture behind for someone. Like, it's not just the fact that she would inform Torture about that. Like, this is something that she did on her own free will. Like, I'm not certain Torture was informed that Princess went up to a hotel, but she knows that there's a Torture's laugh there for her to collect and act when she enters. And Axe is just fucking pissed. Don't worry, Axe. If we are lucky, you'll have the blacksmith coming here, and maybe she'll torture you again just to satisfy you. Actually, if you ask Torture nicely enough, she might actually do it. I mean, the secrets are already on the table, so you don't really need to ask for it more or something. But regardless, that's the end of this chapter, and then we go into Peakness with 100 Girlfriends. Chapter 184, titled Rentaro's Sky Island Escape. So, yeah, I guess we're kind of not having this be a long arc. Like, a lot of people think it was going to be a very long arc, since, we kind of sign up as some vacation, you would kind of think that, because one of the problems with swimsuit chapters right now with 100 Girlfriends is that there are too many characters who talk too much, so it's very difficult to really appreciate the beach bodies these girls have. So instead, we kind of felt there's going to be a huge arc about this, but I guess we're just coming to ending it very quickly, which to be fair does make sense. I mean, let's be honest though, so some of these like long arcs with every character in a swimsuit would probably be best to be kept to a, when there's like a 70 girlfriends Oh my god, those chapters are gonna be like living nightmares. How are you even gonna do those would do like the whole family together chapters when there's like 70 or oh god help us when there's gonna be 100? But regardless, Sorrento comes back, he's able to like I guess I don't know how he does this. Like he previously he looked like he was kinda like using the force to like push himself towards the wall, but now he's kind of like looking like he's like swimming back, but his body should be like in this sort of upside down ooze shape. But guys, he comes to the beach and tells them about the whole this lava thing. There's like a wall around that and all that. There's a bit like denial because for some fucking reason they think this is like weird. You know what? I know it's a popular thing on 100 Girlfriends Reddit to do like a ranking list of for the girls' friends or like a list on what everyone would have. Because you know some they are similar, but there are some who are opposite. But I really would like to know what are like the times where 100 Girlfriends went threw away logic and reality and just went full fantasy, superhero, magic, whatever kind of realm. Because I feel like you would probably because I do wonder where this would rank amongst those things. Because I don't know if that would be that crazy. But regardless, Rento tells them the girlfriend's a bit out of the way. Zetsu is kind of happy because a flying island is more magical than being stranded or more fairy tale-esque and then being a string on a random island. But regardless, also there's a bit of concern about Rento's body from Tama, but that's about it. But anyways, they're gonna wonder how they're gonna get away from now because you know if you're stranded on an island, there's at least a possibility of escaping. Like people are gonna notice that a huge group of people have disappeared one day when they were going on a vacation. They're gonna, you know, there's a way they know in which direction they were going, so they can look around that. They could like pass by and they could signal them. With Winter's family, I wouldn't be surprised if they would probably scream to the planet. They'll be looking, what was that noise, and they will investigate the island or something. But regardless, they can't really do anything when you're on a flying island. And they also do explain that does make sense because you know sun is so shining. With Mimi complaining about the heat waves of the sunrise because like one thing is like she's more scared of the sun in the dark. Like he was doing that whole that 2-chapter arc with them going through the school when it was at night, being like I am more terrified of the night. I'm more terrified of the sun rays during the day than I'm of the night sky during the night. So it's kind of a similar thing here, and yeah. But anyways, Winter has a plan where they're basically gonna use him as he's gonna tie himself to every girl, and then they're gonna use his body, his torso and area as a parachute, which they do find crazy, but he backs them that they take him because like he wants to save them, just like that's the only option he could really think of. Granted, I feel like with this kind of plan, you could probably have tried something else, but regardless, I get it, like they want to get away as soon as possible, so they just want to use the easiest plan. So they are on at the wall, and they get tied to him, and they're all ready to jump. They're all holding their hands and all. As they jump down, they do commit to it. As then we get like a little, let's be honest, there's some Fury bait panels where we have like May hugging and holding Momoka, and she's screaming back as Momoka. Oh, please calm down! I mean, drunk, honestly, which is funny. We then have like Shizuka, Nano tells Shizuka, you know, basically giving her their final moment before that, be like, Shizuka, I thank you for everything you've done to me. In truth, before I die, I want to tell you that and so that's all. Don't say right now and that type of stuff. So yeah, we all went crazy for a week about like did she say I love you or something else. But it would be funny if they should want to go with something a little bit more perverted, just I love you. But regardless, they jump down. We also have like Eri freaking out because she stated that she cannot kick heights. Well, actually, if you have enough force, Eri, you could do like Sanji's moonwalk on it. But actually, no, this is actually a possibility. I mean, we did literally give her into Gum Gum Fruit. So yeah, but we also have like a little joke with Asa where she's like, dear God, hold tighter, because, you know, they're all like kind of scared and holding each other, but she just wants to be held tighter before she dies. But anyways, as they're falling down in terror, Rento looks in the direction of the sunset. He tells the girls to look at, as in all the girls, like, I guess have a slow motion scene, because all of them are looking at that, be like, wow, it's so beautiful, as they come down a bit, as they land on the ground, all happily surviving the entire ordeal. And yeah, Rento's plan did definitely work. Although I feel like at this point you probably could have just Rento could probably just wrap them all into one big package and then just charge his body to make it super bouncy. But regardless, they didn't need to do that. A parachute idea worked just as well. As then the girls are all kind of calm about the snare and being happy, but then they look at Rento as they see his outstretched body, which is just like, you know, his body is just sort of like, he has arms and all, but his body's like, again, his body's basically like a parachute at this point. So they're all kind of like realizing, shit, we stretched him too big and we couldn't even restore him normally. But anyways, the girls didn't go hold him and go kiss him and all things down, that even if the society doesn't accept him anymore, they will always love him, they will always be with him. And they do that until, like, I'm guessing they're trying to put them back together, like trying to like do every trick they can to stuff his body in the way it was supposed to be, as they were kissing him and giving him like life energy and all that. They're doing it so long that they actually fall asleep on his body. So when Rento, I guess, regains consciousness, because when he kind of was on the ground previously, he was kind of like unconscious. But regardless, he is regained consciousness, and he's kind of like using his body as like a blanket, which he does realize, oh wait, this blanket is my body. But as he does this, then the God of Love appears, as Rento looks at him and he's like, it's you! As in the God of Love is like, don't act like I'm your arch enemy or enemy or something. I mean, you are kind of the arch enemy. You are responsible for all this mess, even more so than usually. Because in this instance, we find out this island that they were on was actually a island made for the gods, and it was only meant to be accessible to the gods. Like, no one who flies around should be able to get it. But because of his whole giving him 100 girlfriends and messing up as much as he did, they actually sort of like bypassed those laws, and only gods are accessible on that island. So they got into that island because of that. And I'm just like, so it's your fault! Which it is just funny how this guy in touch just ruins everything. You really are his arch enemy when you really break it down, God. So yeah. And then we have God also explained to him that the reason why he's aware of this is because it was actually on the God's newspaper that they have, like, a airplane filled with mortals has exited one of our resort islands. So should someone go and deal with that? I'm guessing that God of Love went there to solve this, and there was probably like a big mess about it. Like, I won't even be surprised if there's like in the extra panels, chapters, there's even gonna be like a thing where it's like one of the gods, maybe even obscure, maybe this is gonna be like a possible fourth another girlfriend to come up to appearing, as they're like, so you screwed up so badly that you managed to make these mortals accessing areas where there are gods. Are you a fucking idiot? I could totally see him be chewed out by that, because like that's an insane fucking mistake too. So yeah, anyways, the god also explains that the fruit that it wasn't the gum fruit, but it was a fruit that grants him the ability to save his girlfriends and protect his girlfriends, which Rento rightfully calls off Deus Ex Machina. But it doesn't matter, he just says that this fruit has very big limits when it comes to how much you can use, because it can only, 50% is the ability to actually give you powers, but then the other half is more likely to die. So if you eat the fruit again, you're more likely to die than you are to get the powers. So it should never be taken place. I'm guessing this fruit is gonna come back into play at some point in the story. I mean, we're talking about a series that has 100 girlfriends to get to. We are definitely going to have a long time before we get those 100 girlfriends. And a lot of things can happen. I mean, God knows who's gonna be the final girlfriend, lawyer or goddess. But yeah, anyways, God tells Rento that he'll just take away the power, so that, he doesn't have to deal with being a parachute man for the rest of his life, and they should all be back to normal. as soon as he wakes up. So I'm guessing that Rento just falls asleep, and then the powers are taken from him, and God leaves with everyone waking up and seeing that it's back to normal, and they're all happily living together until they get the next girlfriend. So yeah, everything is good in the world again. Which again now raises the question: where the heck do they keep their phones? Because they are just wearing swimsuits. But regardless, this what pleasure everyone's gonna be getting right now is this big chapter. As we now go into the penultimate chapter for My Hero Academia. Chapter 429, titled I Am Here. And what an amazing chapter to title to end this penultimate title for the chapter, for the story. So we start this chapter off by explaining a bit of a backstory about this villain that we got to see a couple of chapters back. You know, the one who was kind of like, who could kind of be viewed as the main villain of the epilogue, but not really. But we have that character kind of walking down the streets as he sees like he basically explains to us his deal. Like it explains to us that his quirk was a random mutation. We've had those mentioned before. And that quirk was like very terrifying, very dangerous. So his parents and family, everyone basically got scared and tied him up and locked him in the basement for God knows how many years. We know I don't know how long exactly, because it's even stated that when the whole legal villains thing was happening and the attacks and all that, apparently what his family did was they came down, told him general stuff about that, threw a bunch of food, water, and I think they just threw like bread and water. I mean, he might even said that they threw. I think he even said that they threw it in his face, honestly, which is like sick. And they just laughed at him. They also like tied his mouth together because he was screaming to let him out, because again he was just locked up in his basement because his quirk was a little too powerful. And they gagged him as well. So they just sort of, by his description, makes it sound like they just threw stuff and laughed him. I guess they guessed correctly that he would be able to pry that thing off of that gag from his mouth, which honestly it looked like it was stapled on him. With how this chapter depicts it, like previously it was a bit hard to tell what exactly it was, but now it looks like it was like stapled on. It was like a face mask that was stapled on him. So yeah, this guy had one seriously messed up life, and he has some really disgusting family members. Again, it's supposed to be very simple and very like over the top, just for us to get like again, this guy's meant more to be like a symbol of the what usually happens when villains like Shigaki arise. So that the reason why it's kind of like over the top simple, like it is with him, is because it's kind of a reflection, is to be that symbol. So yeah, this guy is kind of like just in a corner somewhere, probably starving if we're being honest to ourselves. Like I don't know if this guy like after took near a few days before he pried out, and then when he finally got all of those restraints and the gags, so he could actually eat the substance they gave him, which sounded like they gave him like bare minimum. I'm talking like they took like the things you usually have in your house and threw at him, and they just bailed to go to one of the UA shelters. But regardless, he was just kind of. I'm guessing he was just kind of in the basement with how they described it. He thought that it was not really a good idea to paint there only when things were just completely quiet outside, when he probably left his place. So he went there outside. He's got like seen like some people, giving food and all that, being very happy. It's a calm. Everyone's kind of like in bad areas. He's kind of like, why is everyone so happy? And yeah, as then we got to Uraraka and Daku's Uraraka's place. Well, not place that held them at each other previously, as then Uraraka is feeling a lot of guilt right now because of what happened during the fight with Toga and all of that stuff. As she's kind of like wondering how does Daku know that, because Daku does again tell her that she's feeling guilt over something. And Daku basically explains that he knows how Uraraka is, he knows her personality, he knows the general stuff. Like she doesn't really like showing her emotions or things that bother her that in front of people, so he guessed that she is feeling something deep inside with how she was acting. and just in general stuff like that. And she just kind of wagered that she would come here because this is the place that the two of them were at before the final battle. So they kind of have a little bit of a heart-to-heart talk with one another. So yeah, and then Deku also tells Uraka that she's his hero because throughout the entire story she did help him. Every time he needed help, she was there, kind of deal. Which is kind of a nice little reference because when you like, a lot of people don't shit on MHA's characters and say they don't really do much, but when you really like think about Uraka, it is pretty consistent that whenever Deku needs help and Uraka is nearby, she is always there. It was at the beginning of the story. It was during their double fight. There was a 2-on-2 fight against Ida and Bakugo. It was during doing. I don't think she had like a moment during the sports festival, but she was. Yeah, no, she didn't have a moment during the sports festival when she was the first one who went to that team. She doing the attack and the attack on the forest. Like she was always kind of there, so it makes sense that Deku would have a very favorable view and viewed her as like his hero. Like not as good as All Might, but like there's Baku there as well. But we got like top 5. Uraka is definitely there. Like he would definitely view her like the most heroic out of like everyone. So yeah. Anyways, then we have Uraka telling Deku about Toga, about how she gave her uh, blood to Uraka so she could survive because outside of that Uraka would not be able to last because she was too injured, and she's feeling guilty because if she avoided getting hit fatally, she could have stopped Toga. Well, she could have done something against Toga and not have her die, which is kind of like a thing she was kind of feeling guilty of. Like the path they're taking is like a lot harder to save someone than the path than like just simply punching them down. So she thinks that like maybe she should have just punched Toga down because now she's dead since she lost her blood. So yeah, I know that a lot of the messaging kind of is lost, especially if there was no recording. Like if at least there was like a recording, she could have like seen people's reaction and it would be like feeling kind of guilty and not that she would emotionally manipulate, but it's like one of those things where like if you saw the fight between Toga and Uraka and you had like direct problems with the fact that how they treated people whose quirks were a lot more violent and made them a lot more violent in nature. If they had that, then maybe they could have helped, but because it was like not recorded, nothing, all the people really know is Uraka was in critical condition and Toga died from blood loss because she gave too much blood to Uraka. So Uraka doesn't die. Like that's kind of it. Like that's all they can really go off of. Like assuming that Toga really was the one that gave blood to Uraka. So yeah, Uraka feels very down because of Toga's death. But then Deku comes to comfort Uraka and tells her that he can relate. He also feels like he could have done more for Shiraki. He thinks that he could have, there could have been a potential that they could save him, but and yeah, that he thinks it's best that he does, but that he kind of accepts that this is the best way for this whole thing to be resolved because, at the end of the day, the final choices that the two of them made before they passed off was beating All For One and giving your life to save you. Like as ways for villains to die, these are like the best ways. It was like, and let's be honest with ourselves, if they survive, they would just be imprisoned for eternity. So them at least dying, doing something good for society, to bring some kind of brighter future to Sword Society is a better option. So Deku comforts Uraka, as then class 2A, I guess they followed them, and they told them, like, you could tell us everything, being, supporting friends, and when they were kind of comforting Uraka, Deku, I think Baku mentions a little bit because, he's not really that much of a, that all that's mushy about this stuff. He asks Deku about the embers of One for All, and they was like, wait, what do you mean embers? As poor Deku's basically like, yeah, a lot of my power is remaining. I think there's still a little bit of that, but not really much left, a lot of hate that he wasted on coming to Araka's aid. So he's sort of like very close. He's gonna be quirkless. You know, he is completely quirkless. Basically, right now he's kind of got running on the last amounts of power. It's kind of like when All Might faced All For One, when he still have one embers of One For All. Like there is still some little bit there, but it's essentially so little that all he could really do at the end of the fight was like give himself one piece of muscle and then just force pushing his body into that form. One reality be like, I should really just go to the hospital. And probably thinking to himself, why did you guys do realize, like, none of this is cool, me just standing there even after all this and my muscles being exhausted, but you guys do realize I can't actually move to the willed cookout. Like, I literally am too weak to do that, but regardless, Deku seems to be in that type of state when it comes to his to One For, and yeah. Anyways, then we have like we have them cut back to class 1A, like going to going to their place and like giving Oyama the farewell. We also have like Area playing guitar, which kind of surprises Jiro because like she kind of thought they were gonna do kind of little like actually no, Jiro's playing the guitar with Area being the singer, but Jiro kind of thought they were doing like a bit more like a, you know, more of a melody, more of a calm thing, but Eri chooses like a very excited, very jumpy kind of song, which kind of surprises Jiro since, you know, she doesn't really pick Eri for that kind of. Well, you know, the way Eri is, usually you kind of give more of a calm melody. It's not really, you know, excited pop songs. But regardless, they're having fun. As then we got to, I think it is All Might and Hawks. I think is the one that they're talking with. As Hawks, they're having a or is it Bashirs? Like one of the two. He's talking with Hawks and talking about like the new about the reforms they're gonna be doing and the changes that Hawks is planning on bringing to the table, and how they're kind of a bit ambitious, but Hawks tells them that they need to do. I think they also mentioned they're gonna be exposing all the like secrets and the tragedies of the League of Villains and all that. Like they're not gonna make them insane, over the top, evil, demonic creatures, but they're gonna be more honest about it. Like they are gonna explain how the heroes fail and how they could have done more, and how the things that could have changed. Because the idea is like, again, they need to move the society to a better place, to a direction where they would have a higher chance of preventing stuff. And while they have this talk between the two, we cut to the villain, who is like approaching those people who are like smiling and happy, probably who is when his quirks are kind of being activated. I don't know if he's activated on purpose, like using kind of the logic of, alright, this is, I don't know if I need to pay for that stuff or not, but I cannot pay it because I was literally fucking locked up in a basement for who knows how long, but I need to, but I'm starving, so he probably is going there to attack or take the food, as we have like some people repeating the mistake that brought someone like Shiraki there, and they're like, yeah, like someone looking at him be like, what? Oh, this guy looks fucked up. Because again, like again, this is a guy who's been, from what we know of, spent at least a year or a couple of months, probably fought. Because you know how old you need to be when you get like when your quirks manifest. This is probably a guy who was, who knows how long, locked up in a basement, and was his final action by his family was literally throwing food at him and telling him, oh yeah, the world's going to shit. We are still keeping you locked up here. We just gave you some food before we leave. So, I mean, whoever that guy's family was, I hope they got punished. Although, considering what they did to him, I wouldn't be surprised if they actually joined All For One. In all honesty, I mean, he doesn't mention his sister, so I wouldn't be surprised if there is some thing going on with that. But regardless, he's going approaches there, but then that granny, the one that was doing Shiraki's flashback, has learned her lesson. This time she does approach this guy and ask him if he's alright. And she does also explain like the whole, how she kind of wonders if she like took Shiraki's hand during that day, if perhaps maybe things could have went better, and things could have been prevented. I mean, yeah, there's like the thing about Shiraki's arm decaying things. Although, to be fair, I don't think she even reached the hand. I think she was just like, "Hey, little boy, is something wrong?" And then just got scared by his face, so she ran away. So I don't think she even needs to touch his hand. Just checking what's wrong, kind of deal. Like, I feel like if she did offer him his hand, I feel like he would probably mention something like, "My hands destroy everything I touch," and she's like, "You your manifested quirk you have no control of it," or something like that. She would probably just call someone again. I feel like it would be. Although to be fair, even if she did do that, I imagine that All For One would just come in. Honestly, even if Shiraki was taken to a child's lost center or wherever would be the proper facility for someone like him, I imagine it. All For One would just. Oh shit! I was kind of hoping him to find him in an alleyway or somewhere, but I guess I'm going to have to go take him from there point onward. But regardless of the debatable decision of having All For One be responsible for literally everything, including his birth, let's it's more the meaning and the symbolism, the message than anything else. So in this case, she offers his hand, and while we don't get anything from it, we see that he's very happy, and again, like the fact that she did it, so he probably will explain the things. And okay, from the Ross I've seen, I don't think we see this guy in the next chapter, in the final chapter, because again, this guy's meant more to symbolize the problems, not really anything deeper. So who knows what's going to be revealed? He kind of looks like an adult, so it's kind of questionable where he's going to go, but again, I guess more symbolism of how the world is moving forward, which even goes in line with what Huck said to All Might or whichever one he was talking to, about moving forward and how they need to do this in the right direction. It's kind of like the first show, because this granny who previously left Shigaraki and it was questioning, could we have done something beforehand, is now taking initiative and being yeah, we could have stopped it beforehand, and this time I will prevent it. She doesn't actually know that Shiraki and that kid are the same person, but she thinks that she should, help this guy. Because, again, this guy looks like he was just tortured by a supervillain for who knows how long. I think he literally has, a face mask stapled to his face the way this looks like. That is the biggest sign of call an ambulance, call heroes, call anyone. Someone, give this kid some food, probably. I wouldn't be surprised if this guy looks like he's starving or something. If My Academia wanted to be modern DC and Marvel, it would probably have him growl. We would probably have his stomach growling the whole fucking time if we're being taught the honest with ourselves right now. But because this isn't that comic of fact. So regardless, this kid clearly needs help yesterday. No, a month ago. And I must also assume that his parents are probably going to be charged for, what crime would this be? Would that be imprisonment? Would that be captive or something? Whatever crime that would be. But regardless, we get the symbolism. I kind of thought this guy was going to be as soon as Hikoshi mentioned this guy, there's going to be only 5 chapters remaining for my MHA. I knew this guy was meant more of to be a symbol than a actual character in a practical sense. And yeah, it turned out he is not being used for that. I do wonder if we are going to get a one final character bio for this character to get more into explanation of what it was. But regardless, this is the end of the chapter and the end of the penultimate chapter, and only need the final chapters left. Yep, in a few hours, the final chapter of My Hero Academia is going to be coming out, and then it's over. I'm not going to get into depression about that, because that's for the next week's video, because that's when MHA is going to be ending, and yeah, let's hope I'll be a bit more able to handle it. So yeah, anyways, with the MHA out of the way, let's go into something to cheer ourselves up with Versus Chapter 18, The Boy from a Verdant Forest. I don't think using Versus as an example of something lighter really works, considering what things usually happen in this. Whatever. At least it's not Chain Soldier, where I would probably confuse it with having a very such penultimate chapter with probably doing something with Naohime, Miss Panels. I mean, I'm assuming she's gonna be in the next chapter, considering the teased when they were informing us there's gonna be an extra break in between the chapters. But well, regardless, let's get into verses. So yeah, as we start this chapter off by just kind of showing us the threat level of Gaia by having it destroy the robots. You know those like robots we saw at the beginning of the story that were attacking, that were fighting between the demons. And kind of like if the heroes, the ones that we were first introduced to, we have them like going into that forest and assessing and analyzing things, but they get like destroyed by like birds and random creatures, and they're like assigning threat levels towards that, saying they need to turn it into a machine, all that. Then we see the main trio of Hollow, Blast, and Bach. Was it Baka? No, Bach. Well, whatever the guy from the giant world is, and the fairy one are kind of looking around, and so they're kind of like shocked by this feat of destruction. Like the Hollow looks at Demon Squadron, and it's like getting wiped out by ants. The giant guy looks at the giants, and they are being eaten by fish. I mean, Blast is more happy about the fact there's so much life in this, because like that's kind of the thing with him. Like in the Cursed Land, there's so little life there that it's actually kind of like it's the same thing as during like the fortress fight with the demons, where even though you have demons, and aliens and all that fucking chaos, he's more happy about the fact that there's so much life that's killing itself. Even something like that makes him happier. So yeah, this guy's clearly taken aback. Like Cursed Lands is pretty much confirmed to just be a bunch of that. It does make me kind of wonder if there's going to be something else, something on that coming from that place. But whatever. They're kind of just there. They're kind of moving around. They're kind of surprised by how much they are being destroyed by these. Again, I feel like this is meant to kind of like show that, Gaia's Wrath is like one of those things where it's like kind of questionable where it ranks amongst the threat levels, but no, it's showing us that it is indeed like powerful. It can indeed pose a danger towards everyone else. Because, I think the first time we've seen like Gaia's world posing a threat was in the beginning of the story, where we had like 4 or 5 badges attacking one giant, but now we see like whales eating one giant and them running away from the whales. So yeah, this is like a cementing the threat level again. But yeah, anyways, the guys are really concerned about the area and how they should be moving around. They're kind of starting to bicker a bit because Blast loving of the life, even though everything there is literally made to kill them, with the fairy having a burst of rage over this whole thing, and screaming out, "Oh, what? Would you guys shut up? Everything where we look, there's a threat that could kill us. If it's not the robots emerging, it's them being destroyed by something. But we are fucking screwed." As they are screaming, as they start hearing some kind of rampage and like something's moving towards them, probably listening to that fairy shouting. As then a little boy from the beast world pops out from the ground, named Nukizumi, as she tells the trio to come into the cave, to this hole, so they would survive as they go with him. Because again, like the way that those worlds, the humanities kind of shows, like they're gonna go along with everyone who's human. Probably because, like, let's be honest, it's very difficult to be very untrustworthy. Like, even if you have doubts or have trust issues, you kind of need to at least, like, alright, we don't have a reason why not to. We just have to kind of take your word for it, essentially. So they go there, and then there's like little underground cavern, or this kind of underground location. As Nukizumi is kind of like happy and seeing people from the outside world, as then these three kind of introduce themselves a bit to him, as then he tells them he's going to lead them to where his brother, and grandma live. As they walk towards that area, as they reach this place, they see like there's a real like beautiful like underground area for everyone to live. It's kind of like it's almost or something like that. Usually the usual depiction of a underground city's population. As then they got a question about Nukuzumi as first Nakazumi comes to his grandma and he asks her if she's fine, and grandma tells her that she has one of her better days. Which, if you know anime, it's essentially a day where you can at least like stay a bit, walk around. It kind of reminds me of that play where when the grandfather comes to his to his child. Well, I think every one of them was his child. Well, his family's dinner, and then his granddaughter-in-law is like screaming and panicky about him being there, and he has to tell her that he has one of his better days, like just him going to the main house is just enough to make her worried because of his usual days when it comes to his health. So it's kind of a similar thing here where the grandma is usually so ill that she can't even that her just sitting up and thinking, "Yay, I have one of my good days. I'm not screaming in pain or anything." So yeah, and she reminds, "Oh, like you brought some visitors here," and yeah, they have them go into a bit of a talk, and New Kizumi explains to them about the place, explains that this tavern, because they ask, like, how is this tavern being existence? It's just you three, so how are you able to live here? And then he tells them this was usually lived by a lot of people, but they got tired of just living inside here, so they left, and we have no idea what happened to them, but they might have died. I do wonder if this is supposed to, these guys are supposed to be from the same, if this family, as well as the ones who are with the rest of humanity, are all from this place, because like Nukuzumi does mention the as to the forest. Like when he gives us his lowdown, he names a few other forests. The one that they saw previously, the one that was like, oh shit, we can't go there. Like whatever place we go, we cannot go into that fucking forest. We are fucking that. And even the guy who was from the Lawless was like, did you guys come from that forest? No, your weapons don't. You guys seem like a relatively huge group with non-combatants to be able to survive that forest. So something else, huh? So it's like it's not that. So they do know about other forces like this. So there is a possibility they also know. So it is possible that these guys do know about. So it's possible like these guys might know each other, but maybe not. We know, but regardless, he tells them also like the forests have kind of a very there's a very clear hierarchy in terms of chain of consumption. Like if you are at the bottom, like the humanity is, then you're gonna be eaten. So like the only option to survive is essentially to just live underneath the ground where all the like giant creatures are avoiding. I mean, granted, there's probably like moles. There's probably like moles and ants and like creatures that go underground. You can't really do anything. Like majority of animals are gonna stay away, so they're kind of a safe zone in that form of way. And yeah. So once Nukizumi gives away all the lore information, his brother Shirokaki appears, or he announces himself, so he goes to greet him as Shirokaki has like a very hard-ass kind of expression on himself, as he then notices, as he then sees Hollow and his group is like, oh, there's more people here, great. As then he tells Nuzukishi to go start a fire so they can cook the food that he prepared, and yeah. So he just kind of comes in. Well, he has like a very hard-ass expression. It's kind of more like, oh great, this is gonna be an issue. This is gonna be hard to deal with. So he just kind of sits down. They kind of start a conversation, and they explain a few things. But then while they're talking, Blast kind of like analyzes Shiokaki as he's like kind of itching and being kind of hard, which I think was it Paka? Was that his name? The guy from Giant World. He talks about how he doesn't really look good, and then the guy says, "Oh, I've been feeling like this since I got bitten a while ago." As in a little bit before he entered, as in Blast analyzes him, and he's like realized something. Oh shit! As he's like, you've been infected, and then Blastmate comes up with like a little mess, and he tells him it's gonna work. It's gonna be painful, but he's gonna work. So Blast injects this mask that he has, and it covers Shukaki's arm, which is again painful. He does mention it's painful, but it's kind of like extremely. And his arm is kind of covered with it, which kind of sort of works, but it's like very positive. Then he explains that the device, and then Falcon's like, "Oh, is this guy gonna change him or something?" Because that's like what he did with the demons with his devices. But he explains, no, he just the way the glove equipment from the curse world works, that they kind of suck the life out of you for a purpose. So here, this thing is gonna like keep the parasite at bay, but it's gonna suck his life as well. He has himself one inside of him, as we like see. I don't think it's like a parasite itself, but like maybe a different curse land, the curse that's on him. But regardless, he uses the same one, and that's kind of like what they're using now to keep the parasite at bay. He also states that it cannot like actually kill the parasite or anything. It just can contain them. And he also tells Carl that he did the same thing to Kiss King, but since no, he wasn't certain if anyone was going to trust him if he told him that, he decided for the best if he just, keeps his mouth shut kind of deal. So he does so, and so he explains everything, and they also do explain the parasites and how they work to Shirokaki while Nukizumi is preparing the fire until we then cut to the other group of humans, as we have basically the leadership council, like the ones who are a bit more on the technologically advanced side of things, kind of processing information. They're like, all right, so your king informed us that black man, aka Blast, infected him with something, and he died. But you say that the parasite that was inside his body was a lot smaller than a parasite should be when it kills its host, and he didn't even change it to that giant monster. He just kind of popped with that thing and everything as he killed him. So the parasite was considerably tiny in comparison. And the guys from the infected world do confirm this, like it was really small in compared to what it should have been. So the general is like, so it's possible that this Blast guy, who is not here right now, unfortunately, has used his technology from his world to affect the parasites in your world to reduce its size. So does this mean that perhaps magical based and other sources of power can have a different effect on things? Which I really like the fact they bring this up, because like a lot of times in versus worlds, you kind of like, it's kind of one of those things where how much effect would certain powers have on a certain power? Like, how much would how much would absorption or cancellation powers have on universes with completely different power systems and just different origin? Would they have an effect, or would they not have an effect? And stuff like that. So it's very nice seeing this kind of different loss of different worlds would have like different effects on different creatures. So magic might be a way to deal with these parasite creatures. At the bare minimum, like a way to save Zybe at the bare minimum and get at least more, and at the bare and even less, so is get new information. So the general comes off with a theory or an idea that they might be able to do with magic users from the magic world to save him. And then the two guys who were with Zybe in the beginning of the story, the two that were trying making a circle, the two are there as they are telling Zybe about the plan, about how they're gonna attack him with a bunch of poison and curse type of spells, like damage the body and ravage it, so it would damage the parasite as well, and that would make it come out and it could kill it, or in this, or what they do in the story and contain him. So Zybe listens to this and he's like, yeah, he could probably kill me, but it's worth the shot. So he just takes off his shirt because he realizes he'll probably be naked afterwards. And he asked them if they took the white pills, and the two guys do say that yes, but I'm not entirely convinced because they kind of seem to be questioning a bit. But regardless, I feel like it's like one of those situations where I could totally see them giving the white pills to those two because, again, like, they need all the strength they can have, and right now they are already at the bare minimum of strength. Zabi also asked about the two guys from the Neotel world, and they tell him that they're two, since they don't know if they were infected or not, because they had any blood or anything on them. They decided it would be best if they just keep them contained in a separate area until after they can confirm. I honestly would not be surprised if it's like, while also keeping the parasite small, they might also like not be as infectious as it usually is, as they would be on a regular case, but we have to wait and see on that side. Although it's also possible that maybe like there was something about the Neotel human bodies that's been needed to be so healed or damaged that the parasite cannot actually affect them or anything. I don't know, I'm just like throwing out ideas. And to be fair, if they can't, they also mentioned they can't really use these spells on the guys who don't come from these magical focus worlds because it might actually kill them a lot more than, let's say, some who have like at least some level of magic resistance, like Zybe has. So they don't want to use it on them. So they're going to have to use it on Zybe, and Zybe agrees to this as they just start to bombard him with a bunch of like, they first limit the area, but then they just start bombarding him with the spells to a point that they actually wants to stop, but then Zabi just tells them to keep going. He thinks it's working, and they continue bombarding him, and then like the parasite comes out of it, it doesn't like go for a target as much, but it's like, jumps out of his body, so they contain it. As then one guy's like, "Oh, great job, Zabi, we got all of you," and Zabi's happy, but he's like, but then the other guy's like, kill him! He's like dying. We wanted to stop him beforehand and kill him, but now we have to absolutely kill him. And he agrees, so they heal him, and Zybe has survived this encounter with the pastor, which is nice. It would be nice if we keep at least a few main characters around, because otherwise it's kind of like one of those things where you kind of lose interest in the story if all the main characters die. But yeah, anyways, then we cut back to Hollow's group as Shirokaki kicks them out and does like a bit of like, "Oh, you useless brat, you just stay around playing around and going to airs. I told you shouldn't. I told you shouldn't go there, and you went there, putting yourself in danger, and now you brought even more people that we have to feed. And even though I was barely able to feed the three of us, if that's how you're gonna be, you have to then go away and take those outsiders with you as well." And it's very clear that he's just pretending because, like, we immediately get the reveal of what actually is going on here with a flashback to what his reaction was to all this information that he was given. But it's like very clear because like they are not even trying to argue, hey, we are warriors, we can help you when it comes to getting food. Like, yeah, we might be a bit on the unknown situation like you two are, but we can help. But here it's like clearly just to send them away because Shiraki tells them, "I'm gonna die. My death is as certain. Like, there's nothing we can do because, again, like, even with Zybe's situation, they need magic users and they don't really have that. They just have fighters who just have relative technology that can help and contain this thing." But regardless, Shiraki tells them, "I understand this, but here's the thing. I don't want Nukizumi to die. So take my brother out, and I'll just stay with our grandma until I turn into that monster." Which makes me think that we are eventually going to get him in that like parasite monster form, because I feel like there's like at least I think there will be like a very like tragic and horrible turn of events, but I'm guessing it's gonna happen. Not certain it's gonna be this arc or if it's gonna be like down the line eventually we're gonna have that, but regardless, especially since you kind of think having the grandma and then being in something like the forest would be kind of dangerous. But regardless, for parasites to be around, but regardless, this guy's like, Shiraki's like, alright, just take my brother. I beg you, just take Cam. I am condemned to my life. Like, we can't really survive or do anything at this point. I will just stay. Which some people point out, like, it's kind of, they kind of left the old lady, to die. But again, the lady is being spoken to like she's already like any day now she can croak. Like the guy literally said that he's gonna take care of her until it's time. So as far as they are concerned, she could die before he dies. So yeah, Nikazumi is content to just die. He just wants his brother to go away, so he doesn't die. So yeah, and so everyone kind of leaves the place to go out of it, so they'll not get infected by the parasite, and so they'll be in a safe zone. And probably also I imagine they wouldn't wanna show Nikazumi what will happen to his brother, as that's algae of a nation that parasite turn you in a big problem. But regardless, they go outside as then Nikazumi calls for Chi, as it's like a giant a bird that they got when it was a baby, so they raised it up so it's kind of obedient, which is like one of those examples of like something from these natural enemies that they are able to use, like the giants' hearts. Like how giants, I mean, it was hearts. They're able to use to create. They're able to use to get a power up, or like how the what they are called, the Yggdrasil guys are able to use like the plants and the water from it to like give more mana or to make the ground more stable and stuff like that. So this is like a similar thing here with Chi being like a bird that they were able to tame and use it as an ally. I mean, again, I'm assuming this like foreshadowing for when like some natural enemies are gonna have to side with humans against some bigger ones, like we got with the demons. Well, sort of got with the demons last arc. So I guess this is like another example of that. So yeah, anyways, they're partying on this on the Chi as they're kind of moving. As then while they are leaving, there's like some giant snakes they are coming, and Nogazumi is kind of prepared for them. He's just like able to avoid them because like, oh wait, don't attack don't unbalance Chi. Just leave the local wildlife to take care of it. We'll get the attention of like three bigger birds, and then we'll have the bird that's gonna remain after Chi to get eaten by the whale as we pass through the water, or above the water. So he kind of shows his skill there to like show that yeah, he's not just gonna be a bird on the team like what he said to the Hollows group. And as they are leaving and departing, as Nikazumi's kind of like looking out into the outside world, he's starting to cry as Hollow realizes that while Shirokaki like planned on making it so that Nikazumi will not be like grief stricken, the fact that he has to abandon his brother and grandma to die. Yeah, Nikazumi realized why his brother acted like this. He did not get deceived. He was like, alright, you're telling us that we need to go while you have a weird mark on your hat and the world is being fused. Like, he can kind of figure out. Plus, I imagine if Shirakaki was always a bit of a hard ass, it would be kind of weird that he would like throw a fit right now of all times, even though he could probably throw fits beforehand. But yeah, anyways, they're leaving the area right now as they're going towards the mountain as Parker, I think his name was, points it out and they're going that direction. And as they are going there, Parker does give a few warnings before they enter because while that mountain does have their village, there's also giants stationed there. Not just any giants. There's also one of the well, they're technically called Titans now, but they were originally called giants. But regardless, there's Chief Titan Gori, who is well, basically one of the same rank as the Demon Kings are, but he's basically like one of the children of the main guy from the Titans world, like I think like thousand arm Goy or something, or maybe that's like a thing. Again, I don't know why they are being called this, because giants right now don't have multiple arms, but maybe like the strongest giants, or specifically the giants from the main guy, have like multiple limbs or something. But regardless, Goy is there, and he's like their big boss giant. So we'll see him putting some punches, seeing how powerful that guy is. And again, probably to get like a bit of a basis on the strength level. Like we kind of have like the runs be on the level of the Demon Kings, but now we gotta see these Chief Titans to see if they are on the same level as the Demon Kings. Which we're gonna find out here because we also find out as we are coming to the Titans as they're telling someone, "Oh, you're here. Well, guess what? This is Goy's this is Goy's territory. So if you wanna be here, you have to offer some of your guts, blood, your organs, your arms, your limbs, anything really." As then this person just responds to them, "Oh, I see. I was just going around here for investigation, but I guess I'm going to have some. I'm going to have a little bloodbath here as we find out that's Yachi, the 11th Demon King, the one that Hollow encountered in the first chapter of the story. So he's here to investigate this mountain himself. So we're gonna have Yachi versus Gory soon. No, I'm kind of conflicted on this because I kind of like I want to say Yachi is not gonna be a big character or anything, but I kind of feel like the way how he was kind of written so far makes me kind of think he is gonna be like a big, a more significant character. Just like a random, just a random character who's gonna be beaten at random by someone. So I kind of wonder if if we're gonna have like a similar thing as we had like in in beginning of the story, we had Kevin defeat some robot, highly developed robot, but here it's like gonna be Yachi being Goy. Remember, there's gonna be again like a sort of following the idea of an alliance against natural enemies between humans and demons because Hollow kind of has like a rivalry with those demons, although maybe this is gonna be like a revenge battle similar to how it was with Kevin. But this time it's gonna be like Hollow versus Yachi, and that he's gonna slay Yachi. Or maybe Yachi is going to like recognize his strength and all that. But I don't really know. We are not going to have to wait and see how this is gonna unfold right now. But regardless, Yachi is here, and who knows? Maybe it's gonna be like a thing where they're gonna call more demon. Hollow does have that flute, so maybe he's gonna call that more demons, or maybe Yachi's gonna see that flute. And he's gonna be like they're gonna kind of have a conversation or something. I really know. I feel like there is gonna be at some point where some of the demons are gonna side with humans, or at least work together until like the natural and directly work together with one another to get rid of some natural enemies. And I feel like if Yachi is right now alone and there's this giant camp with a Titan's camp, it might be useful. But as we're gonna have to wait and see on that side. As we get to the final chapter to discuss right now, and that is Ruri Dragon, Chapter 18, titled, Get People to Know You. Yeah, well, guess what? You're gonna have to you're gonna have to be very careful not to accidentally kill them. But yeah, anyways, we start this chapter off with the entire school reacting to Ruri's horns because previously it was just like rumors and, gossip kind of thing, but now, and probably saw it in the maybe saw them while they were passing through, but now they 100% know that there is indeed a girl with dragon horns and dragon eyes. They don't call them dragon eyes, but I would call them dragon eyes at this point. So Ruri is a bit embarrassed about this as they question like why did she take it or since when is she chairwoman, as Ruri just tells them that she was convinced into becoming that she's not a chairwoman, she's just Mido's assistant, so she's there to back her up. So yeah, she's going to be a power, but she's still a bit embarrassed about the whole thing. And then we get to her saying like how things have changed for her after she became the assistant to chairwoman. As basically she now has more work that she has to organize a lot and develop a lot of stuff and go around asking older classmates to assist in making things. Like she does like mostly busy work and more assistant work. She doesn't have to like do anything insane or crazy, but she still has to do a lot of work. So right now Ruri has a few jobs. Like she has to like make a little bracket, or like she has to do like a little listing on the computer to like I guess enter all the students who are gonna be on them and what kind of events are gonna in what order they're gonna be doing all the activities and stuff like that. that, but for that job, and as well as getting like the team T-shirts for the entire class. As yeah, oh yeah, yeah, and while there is also some talk about her still being a pod dragon and doing all of these jobs, she does say that dragon or not, she will have a normal life because again, it's like one of those things where while it would probably be safer for her to be amongst dragons, it's like one of the, like she doesn't really know how to live that way, and really, what will her life then be? Just living on a mountain somewhere all alone? Like, I mean, that's at least what I think it was in a one shot with Rory Dragon, but whatever. She's decides to just continue her life normal and just doing all these jobs and all that she has to. As she and the two who were also the assistant, who like originally planned to be the chairwoman and the assistant, but were one got a sore throat and the other one was too quiet, so those two are now assisting Ruri on asking people around. So they go to a guy named Kazuki Kuma in his class to ask them how to help, if he can help them in the project, which he was told before, and like expect the first years to come and ask you for help on the like how to do things on the computer and send stuff and lock information, all that. And the guy agrees, like, his friend kind of wants to talk about the horns and all that, but the guy's like, fine, like, come on, let's go, let's show you. And then the tech room, in the computer room, and they're kind of typing everything, and he explains to them, as then Rui tries that, and he finds out that Rui is actually very capable when it comes to computer stuff. Probably one of those things where she's lonely and always on a computer when she's at home alone, so probably that's the reason, but regardless, she's very skilled with a computer. So he's very happy about that. So he doesn't think there's gonna be a lot of like hard time things to do. He then wants to kind of like bring up the whole dragon thing, which is gonna be a kind of thing. Like everyone's gonna want to talk a little bit about the dragons. As then he asks her about the interspecies sexy times, if referring to what they do in the bedroom and all that. As the girl like kind of freaks out and she actually starts to speak normally a bit and screaming and all that, which kind of surprised everyone that she's capable of doing that. But regardless, Rui's kind of fine about that because, let's be honest to ourselves, she'll probably have the same kind of, because we have to talk about this up regardless. Like, she has fucking horns. Like, it's kind of difficult not to know to avoid this discussion, so she's kind of prepared herself for it. That maybe she just doesn't think that's that embarrassing to talk about that stuff, and she doesn't even know about it. Like she knows that she's a daughter of a dragon, but she has no idea. Like, how did the whole thing go? How did you do it with father exactly? So she's not entirely certain. And then we get a bit of a flashback and wondering why she was kind of chose of all people again, as then we basically find out that the professor that picked her for this basically had like ulterior motives to just kind of get the general information and everything out of the way. So like, because otherwise it would like take forever. If like you should have to meet everyone, and introduce everyone, and talk to everyone about everything constantly. So he decided it would be best to kind of like break the slow pace and just go into quickly into, alright, you're in a position where everyone in school is gonna see you, so they're gonna know you're a dragon. Now those aren't just gossip talk. You're gonna be interacting with everyone, so they can talk amongst themselves a bit in classes about you, and you can, and any questions they would have, you get it asked, and you can answer tell them, and then eventually everyone's going to know everything that they need to know about you. Basically, that's kind of another motive why they want her to be a part of this, so there'll be more communication, get through information and everything through quickly. So yeah, anyways, once they're done with the computer thing, and then she explains that to them, they go to a girl named Shigure Kariya, who is currently in middle of gym class. They show up and ask her. She first wants to kind of ignore, tell them to do it later because of the whole, she's in the middle of a basketball practice, or she's in the middle of sports. But she relents relatively easily because she tells them that, well, it's just a simple thing like just sending out an order for the design, because apparently they already have the design picked for what is going to be on the t-shirts, then they can do that now. So it will be just quickly done, and they go into the I guess changing room or wherever replaced. It's near the gym that they could like sit down and like have a computer. So they go there and they type their stuff, and she explains to them the details. And then she I guess goes to away because again like she told them what she needed to. As she leaves, the girl asks Scurry why her eyes are glowing a bit. As Rui's a bit shocked, as then Rui starts to fall down, starts to feel sick, as she starts to barf stuff out of her. As the guy with a sore throat goes to run to the teacher to help, because Rui is sick and who knows what the hell is going on. Because like her eyes were glowing before she barfed, so that's kind of like okay, is this like a dragon thing or something? And lo and before it is, because when the teacher shows up and like checks the thing that she puked, he tells her it's venom. So Rui has venom now in her body. I didn't know Japanese dragon had venom, venom in their mouths. But I mean, granted they did add fire. I don't think Japanese dragons are known for fire, but still, it's kind of a weird thing to think it's just venom now. Is this the trait that Rui's mother wanted to tell her about? Last chapter was it 2 chapters ago at this point, but because like that's a very weird, because that's a really big like power to get, and oh boy, Rui was nervous about beforehand because like bringing fire, she's got to be even more know how to be careful about when it comes to breathing releasing venom. Which actually I forgot to mention, but when they were meeting up with Shigure, there's actually a joke like, can you breathe fire? And it's like, we want to breathe fire, but then the shy girl covered her mouth saying, you can't do that, it's dangerous, it's fire! Which made Rui to like retract some of the fire, and that might have actually been the trigger for her venom right now that I think about it. But regardless, they find out Rui has venom, so they're gonna have to be even more careful. Now Rui is going to have to worry not to also be careful about like what she talks in every time. Like be basically another thing to worry about. Basically, I wonder if she's gonna have to wear a mask until like they know for certain that she cannot release more venom or something. So yeah, Rui's life is just getting worse, which I guess it is true. Like regardless of how much Rui wants to like live normally and all that, she's still going to be in danger of some of these powers, and we're gonna have to see how she's gonna deal with venom. So yeah, luckily there's no like any more physical changes, because otherwise, oh boy, would that go into a direction that could even get worse. I mean, can you imagine if she becomes like 3 feet tall or 4 feet tall or something like that? But yeah, anyways, that's the end of the chapter, the end of this video. So I hope you liked this video. I hope you leave your thoughts on these chapters in the comments below. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to this channel for more videos in the future. And with that said, I cannot wait to see all of you mortals next time. Goodbye.